The School of Drama Choir, under the direction of Rick Edinger, with songs arranged by Gary Klein, will provide us with a number of productions in which I hope it sets the tone for what the next hour and a half will offer for us as community members at Carnegie Mellon. It has been a number of years since we've been able to have the choir as a part of our experience. And I am just elated that they were able to prepare in such a quick amount of time to be here with us, because we could not be celebrating the 20th anniversary without the College of Fine Arts production. So at this time, I welcome Rick and the CFA choir.
juxtaposition in us. Justice for all just ain't specific enough. One son died, his spirit is revisiting us. True living in us, resistance is us. That's why Rosa sat on the bus. That's why we walk through Ferguson with our hands up. When it go down, we women and man up. They say stay down, and we stand up. Shots be on the ground, the camera pan up. King pointed to the mountaintop, and we ran up. One day, when the night comes, it will be ours. It will be ours. Oh, one day, when the night comes, we will be strong. We will be strong. Summer is now for every man, woman, and child. Even Jesus got his crown in front of a crowd. They marched with the torch, we gon' run with it now. Never look back, we done gone hundreds of miles. From dark roads, he rose to become a hero. Facing the League of Justice, his power was the people. The enemy was lethal, a king became regal. Saw the face of Jim Crow under a bald eagle. The biggest weapon is to stay peaceful. We sing, our music is the cuts that we bleed through. Somewhere in the dream we had an epiphany. Now we right the wrongs in history. No one can win the war individually. It takes the wisdom of the elders and young people's energy. Welcome to the story we call victory. The coming of the Lord, our eyes will see the glory. One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours. It will be ours. Hey, one day, when the war is won, we will be sure. We will be sure. Hey, glory.
Glory, glory,
Hey,
glory, glory,
when the war is won,
glory,
when it's all
glory, glory,
you cry, glory,
glory,
hey, glory,
glory, glory,
Life flows on in endless song above earth's lamentation. I hear the real far off.
Well, my soul is filled, that's for sure. At this time, it gives me great pleasure to introduce our newly minted Provost and Chief Academic Officer, Jim Garrett. Jim, welcome.
Wow, wasn't that a hard act to follow? To our School of Drama students, what a beautiful, moving, and inspiring performance. Thank you. Let's give them another round of applause. And thank you to you, Chanel. And good afternoon to everyone. I'm Provost Jim Garrett, as Chanel said. This is actually my first public event, so this is a great one to be at. So it gives me great pleasure to be here with you as we celebrate Carnegie Mellon University's 2019 Martin Luther King Jr. Writing Awards. I'd like to welcome all of our students and the student winners and teachers, and along with their families and friends, to our campus today, and we're so delighted that you're here with us. As Chanel said, now in its 20th year, the Martin Luther King Jr. Writing Awards program at Carnegie Mellon is part of our annual campus-wide celebration of the life and legacy of Dr. King, who would be 90 years old this year. These writing awards are the centerpiece of our university's MLK Day celebration. It's a chance for students to share their powerful ideas about whatever cause they are passionate about and whatever change in the world compels them. This year, we're expanding the celebration to include a robust program of special events, lectures, community service opportunities, and other events which will run over 7 weeks and conclude in March. You can find the full schedule of the MLK Legacy Celebration events at Carnegie Mellon's Center for Student Diversity and Inclusion's website. The importance of this day every year is to pause and reflect. Dr. King had a clear moral vision for all. His dream of empowerment and inclusion is something we're still fighting for and working on even today. He believed in the power of diversity to drive change and transformation. We share in that commitment at Carnegie Mellon and must consistently and intentionally build a diverse and inclusive culture. It is a top priority shared by our faculty, staff, administrators, and students alike, and it is certainly a top priority for me. We believe in the power of different perspectives and voices, and that they should be represented and heard across campus. And as society, we should live up to this ideal, for it reflects the promise of freedom that lies at the heart of our country's founding. On this day, we thank Dr. King for the inspiration his legacy continues to provide us in large and small ways to make the world a better place. As we listen to the students' award-winning pieces and performances during today's ceremony, I can't think of a more appropriate way to celebrate the life and work of Martin Luther King Jr. Dr. King believed in unity. He believed in a common humanity and in the aspirations of each of us. I'd like to share a quote from Dr. King, which I hope resonates with you as we honor his legacy. An individual has not started living until he can rise above the narrow confines of his individualistic concerns to the broader concerns of all humanity. By encouraging us to embrace a sense of togetherness and commonality, Dr. King has inspired generations to listen to one another. For in doing so, we become stronger as a community. To the students here today, you each come from different age groups, family backgrounds, schools, and communities, yet have come together on this important shared platform. It's not easy to talk about personal experiences, deep emotions, and social challenges, especially in a world that is currently challenged by polarized views. In the writings and creative works that you created for this competition, You have truly demonstrated courage and a pure understanding of Dr. King's vision of empowerment and inclusion for all. You've truly inspired us to reflect on the power of your ideas and words. I'm proud of each of you for sharing your unique perspectives and coming together to honor Dr. King and his legacy. Congratulations to all of the student participants, and thank you for being inspirational examples in our community. Now it is my honor to introduce Richard Shines, Dean of the Dietrich College of Humanities and Social Sciences, who will share more about the Writing Awards. The Dietrich College and the English department have been the organizer of this event for 20 years. We owe them a big round of applause for their support of this amazing event. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. So I've been dean for 4.5 years, and Jim is my 5th provost. So this might be his last Martin Luther King event. No. I actually hope he's my last provost because he cares deeply about this entire set of issues. And when we found out he was going to be provost, one of my agenda items was, let's get him to actually introduce the event. And I called up his assistant, and his assistant said, he's already in there, I'm not sure you're in there anymore. So the Martin Luther King Day Writing Awards, as we have heard, is celebrating its 20th anniversary. The contest is open to all high school and college students in the Pittsburgh area and is designed to encourage local students to reflect on their personal experiences with race and discrimination. The program reflects the strong commitment the university, the college, and the Department of English share in the study of race, discrimination, and racial injustice, in conjunction with our commitment to the role of creative self-expression in fostering empathy, equity, and inclusion. Over the past 20 years, the awards have grown dramatically and are having a bigger impact and reach than ever before. This year, a record 21 high schools and 8 colleges and universities participated in the program. Earlier this month, the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette published 2 pieces, Madeline Bain's A Sacrilegious Satyr and Joyce Wang's To Forgive the Choice of Writing in These Very Words. And several of this year's winners appeared on KDKA's Pittsburgh Today Live just this morning. The Writing Awards were created, as you heard, in 1999 by master writer Jim Daniels, who is not only the Thomas Stockham Baker University Professor of English and an award-winning author, but a man who cares deeply about Martin Luther King's vision and has championed the role of creative writing in realizing this vision for 2 decades. So thanks to Jim. And it's safe to say the results have been nothing short of stunning. Jim recently compiled the best of the best over the first 18 years of the awards. Challenges to the Dream, the best of the Martin Luther King Writing Awards at Carnegie Mellon University. You can pretty much open the book randomly and come across prose and poetry that is moving, revealing, captivating, and in many cases, just breathtaking. The winning entrants this year are no different. It's clear that the students in our region are deeply affected by the social and political world they find themselves in, intensely invested in trying to make some kind of sense of it, and are every bit as complex internally as the world they write about. What comes through, in my view, is that the very act of crafting a poem or short essay that expresses something heartfelt, accompanied by the act of sending it in to a writing contest like this one, something which requires courage on a variety of levels, leads to self-affirmation and real development. As I mentioned before, these awards would not be possible without Jim Daniels, who not only founded the program but still directs it, And I'd like to thank the rest of the MLK Writing Awards team: Angela Januzzi, Stephanie Jondro, Maureen Rolla, Shernell Smith, and Jesse Wilson, for all of the work they do throughout the year for the program. I'd also like to appreciate the time our judges spent reading admissions. It's getting up to be a heavy lift. And these include Jason England, Julie Hemming, Rusha Mundell, Richard Purcell, and Navia Singla. And in addition, I'd like to recognize our English department staff members who are here today to help support the event. Several members of our senior leadership team are here today, including Provost Jim Garrett, who you heard from before, Tris Jahanian. So thank you all for attending this great event. It's a big pleasure for us. And I'd also like to give a special welcome to two guests from the Office of the Mayor, William Peduto. Alicia Carberry is Assistant to the Chief Operations Officer at the City of Pittsburgh, and Oliver Beasley is a Policy Analyst for the Office of the Mayor. And notably, Oliver's wife is a previous recipient of one of our Martin Luther King Day Jr. Writing Awards. I'd also like to thank our generous sponsor, UPMC, as well as other corporate supporters, Cohen and Grigsby, Hatchet Book Group, and Champ Tires. Larry Lebowitz from Cohen and Grigsby is in the audience today, and we sincerely appreciate your support. So the contest, yes, thank you. The contest is not just about winning an award. It's about giving students the impetus to think, to feel, and to communicate about the world they inhabit as it relates to Martin Luther King Jr. Once again, I am very grateful to Jim Daniels for creating such a forum, and at this time, it's a pleasure to turn the mic over to him. Jim.
Welcome. Since this is our 20th anniversary, before we begin to present this year's awards, I'd like to present a special award to someone who helped me get it all started 20 years ago and has always been an enthusiastic supporter of what we're trying to do. She's worn many, many hats during her time at Carnegie Mellon, but in one way or another, she's always kept on her MLK Writing Awards hat, and we're grateful for that. So with gratitude for her support and commitment, it is my pleasure to recognize Ann Curran. Ann, could you come up here, please? She was sitting over there. Yeah, come on up.
Oh, aren't you nice? Oh, thank you so much.
Thanks, Diane Wichner, for helping us out over the years. Okay, one more 20th anniversary thing. So inside your chapbook of award-winning pieces, we have inserted one of a series of 20 note cards, each with an excerpt from one previous year's winner. It is a small gift to you that I hope you will use and perhaps take inspiration from. And they're very colorful, so I was wondering if everyone could take out that card. Ken, could you come up here and get a shot of this and hold up your note card? And Ken, just hold up for a second. We'll have Ken get a picture of it. Thank you very much. And many of those are excerpts from previous winners, so you can go to our website and read the entire piece. But we really wanted to pay tribute to the other voices that have been in this room over the years, some of whom are here with us today. So, since we got a lot to cover, I want to jump into the awards now, and we're going to start with high school poetry. And we're going to begin with the honorable mentions. The first honorable mention we have is Jimmy Coblin. Jimmy? And our second honorable mention in high school poetry is Aaliyah Thomas. Aaliyah? I should mention that one of the things we decided to do this year is to try and take the individual pictures afterwards to try and speed things up. So parents and family members, please stick around afterwards and you can certainly get a nice shot of your award-winning writer and their certificate. All right, so now we're going to move into the readings themselves. And the third place high school poetry winner is Journey Washington. Journey?
Throughout my life, I feel as though I've been judged for one thing or another. I find that I'm always trying to fit in. This poem helped me to understand that I'm just me, and that's okay. My black, my white. Long hair, tall, happy and thin. Doesn't matter the color of my skin. I'm too black for my white, too white for my black. I'll never fit in. What's poppin' later? What are we getting into? Let's do something. You trying to come through? Oh, nothing much. I'm safe in my home, watching TV, playing a game on my phone. I talk too white for my black, too black for my white. No matter how I switch, it's never quite right. Flat dress shoes, buttons up high, nothing too tight, always passing my thighs. Jogger pants, Jordans on fleek, everything is tight, I'm aiming to please. I dress too black for my white, too white for my black. It's never enough, some things I'll always lack. At the school dance, rocking that hip-hop and R&B. Shoot, dab, floss, ain't hard for me. Although I'm dancing, I'm sad as can be. Everyone laughs, no rhythm they see. I dance too white for my black, too black for my white. I'm trying so hard to get it just right. The streets are quiet, the air is fresh. Birds are chirping as I take a breath. My hood is loud, filled with debris. Sirens loudly screaming. Not a place most want to be. My city's too black for my white, too white for my black. I'm beginning to think acceptance is what our society lacks. While reading this poem, you'll see what you see. My race is unknown, but who I am is just me.
Thank you. And second prize for high school poetry is Destiny Perkins.
As I read this poem, I want to remind everyone in this room of the power in your presence. The time for conversation and prayers is over, and it's time for action. This is my poem, Rebirth of a Nation. Ashes to ashes burnt, black bones recycled like old news, discarded in mass greedy graves like victims of a modern plague. Symptoms diagnosed by the melanin clouding our blue faces. Over the decades, the names pile up. Pictures of mutilated pride metamorphosized into high definition. Too large for human comprehension, man-made compensation. My tongue no longer holds no more capacity for bitter body rhymes. Bent on hand and knee, I regurgitate. Bodies that have become bland, useless, and let my excreted sorrow bleed into neglected streets. I trace my swollen lips and savor the acidic flavor of giving birth. My jeweled suns still spill into the streets. Black bones bruised like sapphire. Holes in a collapsed obsidian chest, glistening like rubies. No one stops to adore for riches, to reap for wealth. Thank you.
Now we had a tie for first for high school poetry, so we'll hear from them both. First, Madeline Bain.
This piece is based off the symbolic questions asked as part of a traditional Passover Seder, and I've translated them to apply to the night after the Tree of Life shooting. This is called a sacrilegious Seder. How is this night different from all other nights? On this night, it does not rain, it storms. It downpours outside my window, the same window that early this morning my father told me not to look out of, told me to step away from because bullets can break glass. On this night, our country is aching. My neighborhood is aching. Rose Mallinger's house down the street is silent and empty, her son sitting Shiva next door. As the sun sets on Saturday and Shabbat ends, Orthodox Jews across the nation are turning on their televisions and learning that their brothers and sisters are dead. On all other nights, we welcome the feeling of our pillows on our cheeks. On this night, the moon only solidifies reality, locks the massacre in history, forces us to wake up on Sunday morning and relearn the news, double over in pain and feel the grief in entirety again. On all other nights, we eat chametz and matzah. Why on this night only matzah? On all other nights, we gather as a family and dine together. On this night, we pull an ancient box left over from Passover out of the cellar pantry and try our best to eat. On all other nights, we eat all vegetables. Why on this night, maror? On all other nights, we are not in the basement at 8 p.m. crying over matzah, but are cooking in the warm kitchen, glasses steaming up over the pot of soup, sense of dinner wafting through the house. On this night, we eat no soup, but instead taste the bitter herb of sadness and loss, the devastation of tragedy and hate, the maror of our troubled country's calloused inhumanity. On all other nights, we don't dip even once. Why on this night do we dip twice? On all other nights, the only salt at the table is shaken atop our food. On this night, it falls from our lashes and we dip twice, once for each teary eye. On this night, we cry for everyone lost today and everyone gone before, not only for Jews, but for Antoine Rose, the young black boy killed in East Pittsburgh. Cry for the Mexican children in concentration camps, the Muslims ripped from their families and deported to a place they may not remember ever calling home. We cry for death, for the profound disconnect between the shooter and self, even between neighbor and self. We cry for how lonely it can feel to be human. On all other nights, we eat either sitting upright or reclining. Why on this night do we all recline? On this night, we recline with each wave of remembrance, each renewal of reality. We recline in pain, we reel. On this night, our elders recline too, in the hospital beds, in the morgue, on the cold, hard floor of their place of worship. They will soon recline in their graves, coffins so dark that the stars of David around their necks can't even catch the moonlight. Thank you.
Thank you. And the other first place for high school poetry is Ilan Mignani.
This poem is titled Searching the Lines of My Palm. 1. The hands of thieves, sliced like deli pork, stretch the skins of their palms wide. God offers no rain to populate their flexion creases with gifts of life and erosion, only copper pennies crafted from Congo mines. 2. The latest autopsy of a country reveals lungs lacerated, breaths overthrown by blood diamonds that gleam like my mother's kitchen knives, illuminated by stove and dishonored by mango's flesh. 3. I've heard it costs 2 cents to make a penny. The thieves pay only 1, not a cent, but a hand, much like my mother's, its weight darkening with shadow forgotten grids of the globe in my bedroom. 4. Thank God we are alive, say the teachers at my school's annual Holocaust Remembrance Assembly. I pray the way sinners do, not thank God my family survived, but this shouldn't have happened. And my father won't ever buy a German car, but while my parents fast on a holiday I can't remember the name of, I fall asleep in the back of a Volkswagen, wondering why I have never felt lucky. I wake with my body not emaciated, with my limbs intact. I dirty my mouth with fruit and say no more prayers. 5. Nobody's going to grieve over us, the Jewish boy I've just met says. Everyone is just going to forget. His whole body convulses, a VHS tape rewinding. 6. Anti-Semitism is like a fire, my grandmother says. It simmers down but never goes out. It's always ready to be stoked again. My grandmother and her daughter, both rabbis, carry a righteous gene I lack. Still, I listen to their preaching. At the first red flag, go. Pack your bags and only take what you need. Leave the country. 7. There's an active shooter at Tree of Life, I tell my sister, reading from a text message, as we watch a horror film on the couch on a Saturday morning. We switch to the news and see our street. Outside, a helicopter circles. 8. My grandmother, a reverse hoarder, refuses leftovers. Her apartment is a child unfed, rich with promise, but devoid of food. I won't waste, she says. On her door, a highest sticker. My people were refugees too, models a Magen David. 9. 1 week after the synagogue shooting, my mother enters my bedroom crying. What's wrong? In the corner of the room, a tapestry bearing my name, the Hebrew word for tree, wrestles against wind. I'm holding so many people's pain. 10. The gunman's Twitter feed claims, Highest likes to bring invaders in that kill our people. I scoff at the irony to splint the silence. I count my own breaths like the worshippers counted corpses. I sleep. I breathe.
Thank you. Now we will move to the high school prose category, and we'll start with the second place winner, Devan Mangalmurthy. Devan?
My piece is called Apu. The Obama Academy of International Studies is not a beautiful building. If it was beautiful once, that beauty is long lost, irreparably draped by dingy brick, so that light and windows are rarer than emeralds within its crowded hallways. The students that pile in through its 5 doors every morning are what Baldwin and Wells would have celebrated, the admixture of peoples, owing allegiance to humanity, not to their kin. I'm joking, of course. High school is a war between races and classes and peoples. In my first 180 days, I was bombarded. Hey man, do you know my friend Trejo? He goes to ECS. He's so stupid. He must be like the stupidest Indian I've ever met. No, Link, I don't. But hey, do you know this Polish kid I know? The only similarity between him and you is that your grandparents immigrated from the same country a century ago. But you're both Polish, right? And no, Chandragupta is not my daddy. Chandragupta is alternatively a 3rd century before Jesus Christ emperor who slaughtered the Greeks and defeated his enemies, or a 3rd century after Jesus Christ emperor who slaughtered his foes and married his enemies. Neither of those people are my fucking daddy. And no, I have no interest in trying out the Kama Sutra. It was one day in our mockery of a civics class that I first heard the name of Apu Nahasapima Petalon. We were sitting around, and I'd heard "thank you, come again" many times before that. By that point, I wondered where the strange saying came from. I asked who Apu was. Dominic said, "Have you never watched The Simpsons before?" I said, "No." And they all started laughing. And then one of them called me Apu. It was probably Kingston. I didn't understand at the time, but I knew enough to be angry. So I went home, and I asked Google about Apu Nahasapima Petalon. Name inspired by a beloved series of Bengali films. Okay. A cartoon character with skin the color of turmeric and a fake Indian accent. All right. Voiced by a white guy. Looking worse. The subject of an upcoming documentary on racism. Oh boy. So how bad could this be? Pretty bad. It turned out, calling me Apu is like calling a black child Sambo. And if no one of any decency uses the word Sambo in 2017, why does anyone use Apu? It's demeaning. It's insulting. And it assumes that all Indian Americans in the United States can be overshadowed by a stereotype of Indians. If you're an Indian American kid growing up in a place where people watch The Simpsons, so just about everywhere in America, Apu is a shadow hanging over you. Apu is the cartoon equivalent of Ashton Kutcher in brownface in a 2012's Pop Chips ad being replayed on our television screens every day, every hour, every waking minute for 29 years. I don't know why people don't understand the problem with Apu, even when I try to explain it to them time and time again. Cecil still has me as Apu at his contacts, and John still asks me if Chandragupta is my daddy. I don't hate Apu Nasapima Petalon. He's the symptom, not the cause. But he has inched too far into my life and the life of people like me for me to laugh at him. Apu may seem inconsequential, but looking at my skin and my name and calling me Apu is wrong. It's bigoted, and it shouldn't happen, because it perpetuates the identification of every Indian in this country as Apu, a stereotype of 1.3 billion people concocted 3 decades ago and unchanged since. Names matter. Racism hits all of us, and it doesn't matter if the person hurling slurs is black or white, brown or red. We always have a chance to be better than our past. My fear is that we shall not seize it.
Thank you. I should mention for some of you who are maybe reading along in the booklet that we've asked some of the prose writers to excerpt their pieces. Their entire pieces are in the booklet, but I think they did a great job of tightening them up due to our time constraints. So the first place for high school prose is Madison Kotarski. Madison?
This is my prose piece called The Fear of Queer. Princess Leia is my first celebrity crush. I sit on the shag carpet of my old red bricked home as my mom popped a VHS of Star Wars Episode 5, A New Hope, into the player. While my parents sit on the couch, I stay on the ground, digging my nails into the carpet, waiting for the girl on the cover to cock her hip and ask Obi-Wan Kenobi for help. When I'm listening to the girl speak, I don't hear Obi-Wan Kenobi. I only hear, "You are my only hope." When my parents are sleeping, I pop the VHS back in and turn the television's volume down enough that my parents can't hear the words coming from the speakers, but loud enough that I can still hear the raspy trickle of Carrie Fisher's voice when she asks for help. I trace my finger against her cinnamon bun hair. In this moment, my feelings are innocent. They are not lustful. They are not sinful. In the same year that I discover my 6-year-old undying love for Carrie Fisher, there are 242 reported cases of aggravated assault, 448 reported cases of simple assault, and 5 reported cases of murder against lesbian, gay, and bisexual individuals. But I am too young for now to understand this. For now, I will continue staring at Carrie, letting myself indulge in the tingly feelings that come with crushes. My mom and I are alone in the car coming back from my dad's house. The roads are twisted here. In the dead of the night, the car's lights are the only source of illumination. The trees that line the road twist up, and in my anxious 12-year-old mind, their branches look as though they're reaching into our car. They reach in because they know I'm hiding something that not even I know is hidden yet. My mother's face grows hollow in the slight dim of the lights coming from the car heading toward us. I bite my lip, feeling nervous guilt well up in my stomach, induced by the knotted faces of the trees and the conversation we just came back from with my dad. All at once, I open my mouth and utter words I have been long reciting in my head, just waiting for the right time for the syllables to bubble out. Sometimes I wish I was gay to piss off Dad, I say. My mother's hollow face doesn't change. She stares straight into the empty road when she speaks. Well, are you? She asks. No, I say. It's a compulsory response, something trained by a force that wants to beat any thought beyond heterosexuality so deep within me that I wince at the thought of being anything other than straight. I don't think about what I'm saying. I just say it. After Pavlov trained his dogs in 1897, he didn't know it would offer any insight into psychology. He was a physiologist set on researching the digestive nature of dogs and the role of the olfactive sensory system in relation to drooling. In terms of classical conditioning, he started with meat powder to induce slobber in the dogs who smelled it. This is called the unconditioned stimulus, because the dog doesn't need to be trained to like the smell of food. Dogs naturally like food. Girls are my meat powder. Next, he introduced the sound of a bell to call the dogs in. This is called the neutral stimulus, because on its own, it doesn't cause any drooling response in the dog. Questions like, well, are you? Are my neutral stimulus. But Pavlov started noticing something weird happening with his dogs. They would start drooling from the mere sound of the bell with no meat powder induced, the conditioned response. I noticed the same thing. When the thought of romantically liking girls is paired with the questioning, curt, impatient, accusatory tone of, well, are you? My body is conditioned to respond, no, only by hearing, well, are you? I don't even have to think about the social repercussions of liking girls. My body is trained to respond in the most acceptable, most normal way it knows. My freshman year of high school became a renaissance. I lose 20 pounds over the summer between 8th and 9th grade, cut my hair down to a boy-length short, come to terms with my being, and I end my 6-year no-dating dry spell. In my freshman year, I hold someone's hand in a way that I never had before, and people stare at me in a way that they never had before. In the hallways, exchanged whispers are magnified. One day, a girl meets me in the hall to ask me a question. Are you dating Sarah? She asks. Sarah is the girl whose hand I hold. No, I say. I run into my next classroom before she can interrogate me further. My response is another compulsory one, another conditioned response. After enduring years of newscasts worth of reports on violence against LGBT people, I decide it's better to break her heart than to risk dying. The next day, she and I still hold hands down the hallway, but now my palms are sweatier. Why are your hands so slick? Sarah asks. I'm not sure, I reply, but I am lying. I know why my hands are slick. My hands are sweating as a response to our peers staring at our interlocked fingers, a conditioned response. She drops me off at my biology class before she heads off to chorus. As she lets go of my hand, she tells me she loves me. I don't say anything back because I'm scared. In April, Omar Mateen goes on a trip to Miami, 2 hours and 6 minutes away from Fort Pierce with his father. While they're strolling on the boardwalk, two men like any other kiss. Omar's father, Sadiq Mateen, tells the FBI that his son looked very angry, seeing gay men exchange affection. Homophobia is a tricky thing, not rooted in fury or religion, but rather apprehension and tension. In a study, 159 heterosexual men were exposed to male-on-male erotic films. When neurobiologists scanned their brains, they found streams of neurons traveling along the brain's anger highway. But what the neurobiologists later found was that the cognitive responses to homophobia are rooted in anxiety and fear rather than anger and sadness. Omar is scared. I imagine Omar Mateen in his house in Fort Pierce, Florida. Omar Mateen is preparing his attack. He's thumbing the trigger on his handgun while his AR-15 is laid out on his lap. His wife, Noor Zahi Salman, brings him snacks while he flips through the channels. His 3-year-old son plays with army trucks and plastic soldiers. When I hold my girlfriend's hand down the hall, we get stares. I'm uneasy, nervous, knowing what these kids might do to me. I've watched enough television, grown enough at this point to know that being gay in rural Pennsylvania is akin to being covered in blood in a tank full of sharks. We are vulnerable here. Later in June, Omar Mateen will travel 2 hours from Fort Pierce to Orlando to erase 49 lives. One kid in particular likes to follow my queer scent down the hallway. He spits words at me, stepping on the backs of my shoes to see me trip as he calls me things that sink into the fibers of my body so heavy that it's hard to speak or breathe in those moments. Not only am I exposed, I am unarmed. But Omar Mateen isn't. On June 12, 2016, at 12 o'clock in the morning, he will drive towards the Pulse nightclub. He will think about those gay men and how scared he was seeing them kiss. At 2, he will open fire on a police officer standing outside of Pulse. At 2:09, Pulse will make a status update. Everyone get out of Pulse and keep running. He will open fire on an entire room full of Latinx LGBT people. He will kill 49 and injure 53. He will commit the worst mass shooting in recent U.S. history. After 2 shootouts with the police and a plea to the U.S. to stop bombing his home country of Afghanistan, Omar Mateen will be shot dead. It seems like the whole world cries that night. As my mom watches the report, I can hear her quieted sobs. Numbers scroll across the TV, 49 dead, 53 injured. She cries because she realizes her best friend, my uncle, could have been one of those 49. She cries because she realizes I, her daughter, could have been one of those 49. She's aware and she's scared. But I'm not thinking about myself in this moment. I'm thinking about Omar Mateen. When they flash his face on the television that night, I cry because I am angry. I cry because I am scared. I am still scared.
At this time, it gives me great pleasure to introduce back to the stage for a solo performance Simone Jones, CFA, class of 21, and Rick Editor for accompaniment on the piano. Thank you.
Thank you, Simone. Now we will present the college winners, beginning with the prose category. So we'll start with the honorable mentions, and the first honorable mention will be Angelica Faye Lee Amatangelo. Angelica? And next will be Jivik Nishko. Jivik? And now we'll have the third place winner read, and that will be Ian Plen. Ian?
Hello, my essay is called The Hill Between Us. I don't see your stares, I don't see your race. I'm running, why won't you smile back at me? Shattered beer bottles and Subway wrappers cover my path. My lungs gasp for breath, but all they find is car exhaust and marijuana. I turn on Kirkpatrick, an incline typical of the Pittsburgh topography, and when I get to the top, I stop to catch my breath. Looking around, I feel lost. All I see are empty lots, dilapidated brick homes and graffiti convenience stores. The majority of the residents are African American, almost all staring as I run by. Eyes all staring at me. Me, a white boy running through the middle hill. Why would anyone stare? Why? I'm making this about myself, aren't I? Segregation is a thing of the past, isn't it? It didn't take me long to realize that running through the middle hill wasn't like running through Shadyside, Squirrel Hill, or other neighborhoods near Oakland. There were tension to the asphalt streets, pain hidden behind the boarded-up sandwich shops and rust-tested clothing drives. I recall learning the history of the Hill District my freshman year of college. Seeing vibrant black and white prints of historic Hill District, a place filled with movie theaters and soda shops, nightlife and music. The Crawford, the Hummingbird, jitney stations, musician clubs. Now everything's gone. Running down Webster up Wiley and across Bedford, I yearned for vibrancy, but instead, I passed metal cages covering stores, no trespassing signs displayed on apartments. Large areas of nothingness permeate under the gray Pittsburgh sky, like someone planned to build something a while ago, but forgot. Overlooking the battered brick houses stands an old public housing unit called Skyline Terrace. It reminds me of a 55-plus suburban community, modern cookie-cutter apartments equipped with double glass window panes, freshly low lawns, and golden doorbells. But there's an uneasiness to these apartments, an uneasiness that fills them, an uneasiness that fills me. As a white running through the middle hill, I'm just beginning to understand my privilege. And I turned on center, and surely this was not the same center I jogged on minutes prior, where I gawked at the luxurious Shenley Farm mansions behind the Golden Oaks. The Hill District's only a couple blocks north, but where are their Golden Oaks? Segregation could not be this obvious, could it? And as a college student, I live in a constant bubble. I'm always surrounded by individuals like myself whose biggest fear may be failing an organic chemistry test or getting denied a summer internship. I'm as much in the city of Pittsburgh as I'm detached from it. I take classes on diversity, literature, sociology, all to become a more worldly individual. I volunteer at hospitals and tutor in public schools, all while pretending that race is transparent, pretending that the doctors that walk the hospital hallways are not predominantly white and male, and pretending that housekeeping is not all Hispanic, or the nurses' aides aren't all black women. Segregation is a thing of the past, they say. Well, like many students at Pitt, I come from a white middle-class suburban family outside of Philadelphia. My school district was 85% white, my neighborhood roughly 95%. And in elementary school, we were taught that segregation was a thing of the past, and over with, vamoose. And I remember commemorating Martin Luther King Jr. Day the Friday before. We would get crosswords with civil rights leaders' names on it, and we'd memorize how Rosa Parks sat at the front of the bus and how Martin Luther King had a dream. We'd watch a 90s documentary on Ruby Bridges. Now, my teacher told us Ruby was the first black student to attend an all-white public school. And I remember staring at that fuzzy TV screen in awe and admiring her bravery. And I remember feeling the swears and rocks thrown at Ruby and thinking they could never be thrown today. Never today. Schools segregated? No, never. How dare you use that S word? How dare you? How dare you? And in college, I came to understand race within a different context. I learned in biology that race is dependent on the amount of melanin in the body. And I learned in psychology that race unifies social groups and influences attitudes. And in sociology, I learned that race is discriminated against, selected upon, and deeply ingrained in our country's culture. Segregation was a thing of the past, they say. Well, they are wrong, because we often look at the civil rights movement with rosy-colored lenses but ignore the segregation which persists in our society today. How dare you use that S word? How dare you? Martin Luther King had a dream, and that dream came true. Didn't it? So as I turn off Kirkpatrick and make my way towards campus, black bodies quickly turn white. Segregation is as present as the hills of Pittsburgh. It's in the schools, the neighborhoods, the hospitals, the streets. And I'm running downhill now, and my steps become fast and heavy. My sneakers press firm against the beige campus sidewalk, and the freshly cut shrubs and flowers become my new backdrop. I'm transported to another dimension, a world of stressed college students, rap music, and Starbucks Frappuccinos. And I think of where I've been, where I want to go, and what I want to change. Segregation is everywhere, but the uphill battle has just begun.
Now we'll hear from second place winner, Joyce Swan. Joyce?
When I was attending elementary school in Beijing, my mother, who was working for a British firm at the time, told me that fluency in a language is achieved once you can dream in it. For a long time, my goal was to be able to dream in English. In middle school, I decided that I wanted to go to America for high school. I'm still curious what gave a child such ambition. Perhaps the competitive culture in the public education system in China. Perhaps all the signals that I had been receiving insinuating that America was #1, the most gold medals in the Olympics, the most atomic bombs and aircraft carriers. To study English, I watched all the American movies and TV shows I could pirate on the Chinese internet. I bought vocabulary books and tried to memorize every page. I even paid special attention to memes, not for fun, but for the knowledge of humor. Later in life, I would learn that humor comes hand in hand with social capital, but at the time, it just seemed like another thing I had to learn to assimilate into the American culture. In 9th grade, I applied and got into an elite high school in America. The moment of enrollment felt like a moment of emancipation. During those 3 years of high school, finding a new home meant studying Plato and Shakespeare. It meant treating writing like a science before it became anything remotely fun and cathartic. It meant using my English name so comfortably that my Chinese friends would call me by it too. What seemed like emancipation at the time would turn out to be a strange kind of exile. I spent my formative years in America reconstructing a new me in a new language. I developed the emotionality and sophistication of an adult who speaks English. Since I so drastically switched my language of comfort, my ability to use the Chinese language stopped developing at age 15. I matured, and I'm maturing in the American way. Right now, I'm able to think these thoughts, write these thoughts, speak these thoughts, only in English, not in Chinese. The shield of the American language keeps me protected as I write about my rage and depression. If I were to write these emotions in Chinese, I would not have the right words, and I'm not sure if I can handle the brutality in such remembrance. Junior year of college, during a hospital stay, I met an American woman of Chinese heritage. She often spoke Chinese to me, even though she did not grow up with the language at all. Perhaps she thought I was more comfortable speaking my mother tongue, so she told me about her life and expected me to tell her mine. She said she taught herself Chinese during college. She told me Western doctors tend to over-medicate. She warned me to never marry a white man. I ran from her, and her language made me feel naked. In the hospital, I was trying with every bit of my will to build a shield, and that shield was American. The Chinese language would erode it to the core, so I ran away from her whenever she got close. I ran from the kindness or the desperate gesture to connect of a woman who thought she could trust me because of our shared origin. What she didn't know was that this origin, this distant mythical place that she wanted to find, was a place that I abandoned and also abandoned me in return. The price of erasing the presence of the Chinese language during my formative years was the erasure of an identity. Not sure since when, I don't dream in either language. My body made the decision for me. It can't make up its mind. I often have trouble choosing one of those glorious terms one could use to describe their mixed backgrounds, because I don't see my background as a peaceful synthesis, but a brutal, forced replacement of one for another. Calling myself a hybrid of any sort feels inaccurate, reductionist, and irresponsible. Hybrid sounds like a superior existence than the different things that it's constituted of, but I feel more like a half-ass. My fluency in English is associated with the abandonment of my mother tongue. This association is something to blame and regret over, but also something to forgive. Perhaps it is only through the forgiveness of self will I ever be able to call my internal battles to a truce and see beauty instead of brutality in the coexistence of languages. Thank you.
Okay, and the first place winner for college prose is Cheno Ma. Cheno?
This piece is based on my personal experience attending school in China. Bravery. Homosexuals betray the laws of nature. It was during a history class. A teacher's words left a bitter taste and made me feel dizzy. I wanted to stand up and demolish her argument, as I did in many debate competitions. Angry, sad, and shocked, I looked around eagerly to find another pair of eyes full of these emotions. Some of my classmates bowed their heads. Some kept spinning their pens with boredom, and some curled their lips to a contemptuous smile. Silent, sat still, in same posture as any other class. Will there be eruption under the deadly quiet sea? It's the 21st century. Scientific discovery of sexual orientation spreads everywhere online, and there are already numerous voices overtly opposing the prohibition on same-sex marriage. How can she use these irresponsible words to mislead kids as a history teacher? I will stand up, but she's the authority. The school will make disciplinary action against students who improperly challenge the authority. Of course, homosexuality is improper under this circumstance. I want to stand up. Am I crazy? I want to stand up. The bell rang. I realized that I had clenched my fist and my hands sweated. I could only mutter to myself, "You are wrong." My desk made no response. My words and courage died with the piercing bell to end class. As Dr. King advised, I would never forget the silence of my friends. Girls can just pick liberal arts, but we boys should be excellent in arts and sciences as well. A teacher blessed these words to the whole grade. Does he understand what he just said? It's the whole class advisory assembly for choosing between arts and sciences concentration. This is sexism. Social bias like this had trapped people in a vicious circle of men's superiority in science theory. Biological differences haven't been proven to cause general intelligence discrepancy between males and females. How dare he say those irresponsible words? I need to stand up, but he's on the stage and with the microphone. There are too many people. I have to say something. Did I misinterpret his words? Is this sexism? I asked classmates beside me, thawing my frozen fingers on my burning cheeks. You're just too sensitive, some girls said. Yeah, what's the point? Some boys asked. I suddenly feel like a stranded fish, struggling to catch my breath. A little girl came to me. Doubts filled out her bright and innocent eyes. Mommy, my teacher said homosexuality is wrong and girls can only do arts. I think my teacher was wrong, but what should I do? I crouched down to rub her hair and said, I woke up from this dream. I don't want this future conversation with my daughter to end up with, Mommy encountered similar challenges before, but I did nothing. I don't want her classmate to say, you are too sensitive when she expresses her concerns. My country hasn't legalized same-sex marriage, and backstreet sex-selective abortion is not uncommon in some underdeveloped areas. However, it shocked me that in a developed city like my hometown, there were still teachers who make biased statements towards individual sexual orientation and overtly state that boys are more intelligent than girls. And instead of being offended, many students even can't recognize the bias. Lack of awareness and inaction are the most terrifying of all. You are really credible and influential to students who are just forming their values in independent views. I plead with you to make your words as objective as possible and help us think critically. Simply pointing out is only your personal belief and encouraging students to always take different perspectives would help a lot. I respect you, but I suffer from your words. I regretted not being brave enough to stand up and respond instantly. I regretted not being brave enough to confront the authorities in person. I regretted not being brave enough to make this letter public. I hated myself for being so weak and unconfident that I was changing nothing. I need to be stronger, to use my strength, to use my knowledge. How can I help and forward changes? Attend local college lectures on gender studies, organize events to promote acceptance and understanding of homosexuals, and talk with professors and students about equality among boys and girls. I had tried all of those to raise awareness of our biased social environment and appeal for more rational thinking. Some succeed, some failed. Being brave takes time, but take it. It is hard, but make it. Be patient, keep trying, and keep encouraging yourself, because our life begins to end the day we become silent about things that matter. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we move on to college poetry, where we have a couple of honorable mentions. First, Julie Hemming. Julie? And next we have Amy Nguyen. Amy? Now the third place winner will read her poem, Ariana Brown. Ariana?
Hi, how y'all doing? Could I get a mic and mic stand, please? Is that possible? Can everybody give it up for the sound people, please?
All right, one more time for the sound people, please. So I'm wearing a Black Lives Matter hoodie and walking through campus because the protest is in a few minutes, and the joke is I'm wearing black on black and standing near the Jefferson Davis statue. I mean, I'm standing near the stump where the Jefferson Davis statue used to be. He was removed formally last month. Now only his name remains engraved in stone, and the joke is I'm wearing a Black Lives Matter hoodie standing next to the ghost of Jefferson Davis, and of course, the campus police are driving by at this exact moment. And I turn away, as though black isn't a vacuum of light, a gap left by loss, a space entirely devoid of matter, a glitch in the sunlight, as though the police will not detect the ghosts they left me with, as though I'm not always wearing blood on blood, and because of the ghosts, or the heat, or their own preference for intimidation, the police keep driving. I take the back way to reach the protest anyway, the protest, which isn't even that large, which is being monitored by police, and I take a paper with a chance. And the joke is, there's at least 10 chants, and that's a lot to remember for someone who was late to the protest and walked past the ghosts of slave patrollers, and we begin marching. And white students in collars are laughing. And I am offering my lungs to the hungry spirit among us, trying to hear the chants in the back of the procession to make sure we are chanting the same thing in the front, and we are moving through the campus streets, and cars are honking, and when we reach Guadalupe Street, the city bus drivers, all black and tired, are waving, snapping, hollering, hallelujahing out the windows, and we are not met with tools of violence, and I don't know what to make of that. And this is not my first protest, but it is the first protest in which my grief did not become me. Instead, my body leaned toward my roommate who organized the thing, and looking over, I watch her dance, arms wound in freedom, a good gospel releasing from her limbs, and she smiles at me, and I join. And the chanting is loud and immovable. Nobody dies in the street, and the ghosts pull this brief life from their palms and place it in mine. And the joke is, one time I went to a protest wearing a Black Lives Matter hoodie, and I danced with my roommate, knowing full well I was hated, and knowing full well I am loved.
And the second place poetry winner is Joss Green.
This past week, the 3 men who facilitated covering up the murder of Laquan McDonald were acquitted, while Van Dyke, the former CPD officer who murdered the 17-year-old, has been sentenced to serve a maximum of 6 years and 7 months in jail for a crime that he could have served life for. I urge the people in this room to question who the justice system protects and values. I also urge you to take care of and support the Black people in your life during this harrowing time for our humanity. This piece is called Happy Birthday, Laquan McDonald. We sing it the Black way first this time because it's what you would have done. It's drizzling in Chicago, the droplets erupting off the ground with each stomp clap. I got a million songs stuck on my tongue for you, have for about a year now. I don't know if you would have been protesting if it wasn't you who was shot, but it was you who was shot, so I guess that question don't matter much. It's your birthday, so thinking on you as anything but saintly feels wrong. I know much more about you than what I saw in that video. I bet no one near me does. I wonder if you liked rain, the cleansing act of baptism as given by the earth. But then I remember you was a nigga, and niggas don't fuck with no soft shit.
And though the obvious poetics of the fact that it is raining are not lost on me, I put that aside for the sake of rioting, which is some shit that hard niggas could get behind. I ain't a hard nigga, but I sure as shit ain't soft. And I sure as shit ain't finna let him get off. This trial is 4 years too late, but ain't no killer cops finna walk around this city on me and my clique's watch. He finna see justice, Laquan. Justice in your name for the sake of all them black boys who got snatched and erased like you. You would have been 21 today, so we pouring up for you, smoking out for you, right in front of the cameras, which parade our black suffering to the white people who like to pretend they care about you too, but stayed home because of the rain.
And the first place winner in college poetry is Hannah Daniel.
During the vigil at Soldiers and Sailors, the memorial for those who lost their lives in the Tree of Life shooting, Rabbi Jeffrey Myers remarked that the congregants that he had lost were the ones who arrived early and sat in the back. He was able to pull the congregants in the front to safety, but those who sat in the back were tragically shot and killed. This is my poem, They Sat in the Back, dedicated to Joyce Feinberg, Rose Mallinger, Dr. Richard Gottfried, Jerry Rabinowitz, Cecil and David Rosenthal, Bernice and Sylvan Simon, Daniel Stein, Irving Younger, and Melvin Wax. We sat in the back. We were 13 years old, itchy, tired, and we didn't want to be there. We were anxious to leave our seats. We sat in the back to sulk, to count on our fingers how many more Saturday morning services we would have to endure before we could check the box for our B'nai Mitzvot. We picked at our nails, but we sang the blessings because we loved them even still. The minutes limped along. We shifted in our dresses and our ballet flats that were getting a little too small. Our stomachs rumbled as we waited for the Kiddush, and we sat in the back of the room. They also sat in the back. Our matriarchs, our door holders, the ones who had prepared our Kiddush that morning, the ones who knew the code to the building was coincidentally the same year it was built, the ones who drove us to the service, the ones who sang in the choir, the ones who taught your children their Aleph Bets. They sat nearest to the entrance, the ones who walked with walkers, the ones who parked right outside the temple doors to rest their stiff backs on stiffer benches each Saturday morning, the ones who have seen their children and their children's children through the sanctuary doors. They built this place up from the ground, and they sat in the back. We did not want to sit in the front, where we might catch the eye of the rabbi, where God might see our lips stumble on our prayers. We sat in the back so we might easily slip out to use the bathroom, to get a drink of water, to check the broken clock in the hall. We sat in the back so that we could be the first to leave. They sat in the back because they had arrived early. They were our living ancestors, our minyan makers. They sat in the back and they knew your name because they had been the first ones to welcome your family into the synagogue with a warm hug and a boker tov. We sat in the back. We wanted to leave. They sat in the back. They didn't have time. Thank you.
Now we move on to a very important part of our program, the presentation of the Best of School winners. As our awards program continues to expand and I visit many schools to do writing workshops leading up to the awards, and we have more schools getting involved and more entries being submitted, the judging becomes more and more challenging. And as we struggle to recognize all the brave, talented writers in our community, particularly in our packed program this afternoon, the Best of School winners offers us a valuable opportunity, and we hope their home schools also recognize these talented writers. So first we'll begin with the Best of High School winners. And in alphabetical order, we'll have Dalia Miroff from Alderdice. And then following that, Hannah Meng from Avonworth. And then from Bethel Park High School, Leslie Felino. And from Mount Lebanon High School, Vivian Salvucci. And from North Allegheny High School, Caroline Mura. And from Oakland Catholic High School, Kavya Weaver. And from Pine Richland High School, we have Taryn Douglas. And from Pittsburgh Mallions University Prep School, we have Benaya Walker. And then from Pittsburgh Science and Tech Academy, we have Amir Jesus Branch. And then from Shadyside Academy, we have Akshay Ameser. And from Winchester Thurston School, we have Margaret Bailich. And then we have the Best of School for colleges and universities. And we'll start with Cameron Short from Carlow University. And from Point Park University, we have Ashley Southers. And from Washington Jefferson College, we have Ana Noriega Cota. So, first of all, I want to say, can the winners please stay on stage for a group photograph for a minute, in a minute. And before you all leave us this evening, I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us here today to listen to these brave, talented young voices. And I hope you will come to the Writing Awards again next year and every year to come. And finally, please give all the winners and performers one more generous round of applause.
I think we all should stand and congratulate them on their achievement. So when you've been hiding the fact that we're going to interrupt before we conclude, Jim is a tough person to kind of get things around in the script, but there was no way that we would not recognize the work of Jim Daniels for 20 years of in recognition of his unwavering dedication and leadership. And I know he gets embarrassed by these kinds of moments, but at this time, we're going to call Jim Daniels to the center of the stage here. Jim, will you come forward? He doesn't like this. Please come forward. And we have an award that we want to give to Jim. Now, I've been holding on to that for a couple of weeks, so I've been anticipating giving him that award. So at this time, in closing, I want to leave you with one quote from Dr. King. And today I used it at our children's programming, which I think witnessing the life and legacy of Dr. King through the eyes of children is something that is inspiring to me. And the quote that we used with the children's programming this afternoon was that life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? And I think at the nexus of where we are now, globally and as a country, I think this is a question that is an important one for us to lead with. What are you doing for others? Jim Daniels, thank you for what you have done for over 20 years here at Carnegie Mellon. You have empowered and inspired and allowed for students to question themselves. 20 years of high schoolers and college students being able to be recognized for being at their most vulnerable, which you witnessed today. That is service. And I challenge each and every one of us to leave here asking the question, what are you doing for others? I'm supposed to give you more information in terms of programmatic efforts that we have at Carnegie Mellon. There are two that I will highlight this week, and then the rest I will just say, please go to our website. Our programs are open to the Pittsburgh community. We welcome you to come back. We welcome you to bring your family. We welcome you to bring your friends to our campus community. Because one of the things that we hope that you see through these experiences today is that at Carnegie Mellon, I say this every year, we're a welcoming place. We want you to feel welcomed at our institution. It does not matter what school you came from. It does not matter what institution, as higher education institutions you're a part of. We want you to come to Carnegie Mellon and engage with us. Because one of the things in which we state all the time, at the intersections of diversity is innovation and collaboration. And today, what you've done through your words and through your vulnerability has allowed for us to be empowered and to be engaged with one another. And we hope to see more of that. So the two things that I will highlight, service. So tomorrow, for any Carnegie Mellon faculty, staff, student, I welcome you to come back to the University Center. And I believe Peter Wright McKenna at 4:30. We will have a service project that's an on-campus service project for the Light of Life mission. We will have a bagged lunch. We will be bagging lunch and doing service together that afternoon. We welcome you to come back to that program. I also encourage you on Friday morning, we will have an interfaith breakfast that will begin at 8:30. And at 9 p.m., we will have a program in which we will talk about healing from hate. And I think as a Pittsburgh community, we absolutely are in a place where we need to heal from hate. And so I encourage you to come back and engage with us during that program. Other highlighted events that will continue to happen through March, we have keynote speakers, we have book readings. We're highlighting 3 books this year. One from Dr. Joe Trotter, who just published the book, Workers on Arrival. We have the book, American Islamophobia, and They're There, which is about the Native American stereotypes in present day. There's so much to get involved in. We just want to thank you again for coming and being a part of our celebration of Dr. King. There's still cake in the back, I was told by our Chartwells. And so also at this time, can we recognize those who sometimes are in the background of these types of events, who are doing service as well? Can we actually just give a round of applause for our Chartwells and our servers and others within the campus community? We have security that's here through our university police as well, who's been a part of this as well. It's just, those for me, it's important for us to recognize all of it that it takes to put on an event of this nature, and I don't want anyone to go unnoticed, because we see you and we appreciate you. Have a good night. Thank you again. See you in the future.